Good morning, I'm Larry Steinhouse, and welcome to Money Chat Now. Money Chat Now is a politically charged stock market pre-show giving you the politics behind the biggest moves in the stock market, and is presented with comedic common sense by an expert in financial literacy. And hey, that's me, Larry Steinhouse. Today is Thursday, May 26th, and I want to welcome you to the show. We are here live on WWDB Radio 860 AM in Philadelphia, and we are live on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Hey, you can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, True Social, TikTok, and all the other social media sites, that is, by searching Larry Steinhouse. So do it. Go find me. Connect. Let's connect. Hey, just a reminder, if you're watching online, hit that like button, hit that share button, and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the Money Chat Now page on Facebook. And you can also comment live during the show on YouTube and Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And please say hi so I know you're watching. A couple people saying hi already. We got Tommy and Lewis. Thanks, man, so much for watching. I always appreciate you guys. By the way, if you're commenting from a group and it's not the Money Chat Now fan page, your name may not show up on my dashboard. So please go to Money Chat Now page, like it, and comment there so I can recognize you. And of course, Money Chat Now is brought to you by Investor Schooling. And you can attend a complimentary class Thursday, that's tonight, by going to Investor Schooling. So make sure you show up today. Say hi. Go to investorschooling.com, attend a class, and there you will learn about real estate investing and stock options trading from those who do it every day. All right, of course, on today's show, we have the futures update. I'm going to talk about the shooting. I didn't want to, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. I'm going to talk about pandemic effects, the Boeing Starliner test, and pay raises for all. You get a raise, you get a raise, you get a raise. You know what I mean, right? All right, let's get into the futures. I don't know. Are things starting to settle down? Is it a possibility? The Dow started off slow yesterday, but then it finished up about 193 points. Not bad, but you got to remember, right, my prediction of a range from 31,000 to 33,000. So remember, I said it was going to range, and I was going to range in this range. And sure enough, 31,000 was just about the bottom. And right now, it's about 32,000. So just keep track of it. Watch when it starts to hit 33,000. I'm going to say that the market's going to start to pull back again. By the way, the S&P and the NASDAQ also finished up, and this was on the heels of the news that the Fed hinted they may raise rates higher than expected. Now, I want to remind you something here, and this drives me nuts because, sure enough, we see the futures are up. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But each time the Fed either made an announcement about the rates or actually raised them, the market actually reacted that day positively. So yesterday, the Fed had a memo out that said, yeah, we're going to raise rates, and then the market reacted positively. But it was the next 2 days in the past, whenever that happened, the next 2 days in the past, then it kind of tanks. So watch today and tomorrow for the real reaction. It's almost like, I don't know, they can control the market to just suck you in before dropping you out. All right, the Fed minutes contain many quotes like this one. Most participants judged that 50 basis point increases in the target range would likely be appropriate at the next couple of meetings. In addition, Fed Open Market Committee members indicated that a restrictive stance of policy may well become appropriate depending on the evolving economy outlook and the risks of the outlook. So they're basically saying, we're going to do whatever we want. If we think we need to raise interest rates, we will. All right, so this is the other side, of course. I told you that, the next 2 days may be the test for this, but it's also possible that Wall Street heard exactly what they wanted to hear, so the market will not react today and tomorrow. But I'm kind of skeptical. We've seen this, right? At the same time, I got to tell you, I'm also hopeful. The other good news, or sort of bright spot in the market, was the retail sector. Last week, we saw Walmart and Target fall, but this week we see Best Buy, Nordstrom, and Dick's Sporting Goods pop yesterday on both good news and also good on both, I should say actually both good and bad guidance, right? It seems that the highline retailers like the aforementioned and even Macy's are faring the inflation storm very well. They've raised prices and the consumer is still buying. The top three performers yesterday were Macy's, Best Buy, Bath and Body Works. However, you should note that all of these are far from their high levels just a few months ago. In fact, most of them are half of what they were a few months ago. Nvidia also had an earnings report after the bell, and like yikes, the stock dropped about 12 points on guidance issues. They were concerned about supply chain and the economy. You have to understand that all the companies are concerned about guidance. This could be a good thing for the next earnings report for these companies, and I'm going to tell you why I think that's really a good thing. The reason would be that the guidance is being told just to be safe. These companies may have better earnings reports than expected, making them primed to pop back up. I've seen it before in several earnings. Wall Street expects the company to fall because of weak guidance, and then the company surprises you and the stock props. A good example of this would have been Meta last earnings period when the earnings surprised Wall Street and the stock popped about 14%. These to me are the bargains. So watch for NVIDIA to be banged up over the next 45 days and then pounce on it. Now the question is, will the investors stay put or move to another set of sectors? You know me, I'm kind of hoping they move into the travel sectors and buy cruise lines. And I hope they do it soon. Ugh. Twitter was also in the news after the bell when Elon Musk did exactly what I predicted by confirming his pledge to buy the company. It was announced that Elon Musk has raised $33 billion of the $44 billion he needs for the acquisition. Now, if history tells me anything, watch for a major player to drop out of the commitment in the next news article. So basically, whoever committed to it, somebody's going to commit to it, someone's going to drop out, and they're going to say, oh, so-and-so dropped out of investing in Twitter with Elon Musk, and blah, 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 blah. And when that happens, buy more Twitter. The article after that will talk about how Musk found the money elsewhere. All right, let's take a quick look at the futures and see what is going on here in the futures. It looks like we have the Dow is up 190, we have the S&P up 23, and we have the NASDAQ up 41. All right, take a minute, and I want to talk about the shooting. All right, by now you've heard, about the horrific news about the shooting in Texas, where a lone gunman walked into a school, sat down, and just started shooting. His carnage caused the death of 19 children and 2 adults. I debated really whether I wanted to talk about this or not, and after much consideration, I obviously chose to talk about it. And I'm going to tell you something. My first thought when I hear about a shooting like this is, oh crap, here comes all the anti-Second Amendment nuts flooding the internet with their propaganda. My next thought is, I bet all the gun owners just ran to the gun shops to load up on ammunition because they're afraid the anti-gun nuts will take away their guns or ammo. And my next thought is, how could something like this be stopped? Oh, and then my next thought is, those poor children and those poor people, how awful for them. Yep, and I bet your head did the same thing. Now, don't judge me if you didn't do what I did, or if you don't do what I do when this happens. But my reaction to this is a bit of a trained reaction to the reaction of the rest of the nation. I have a few liberal friends who posted something like every hour yesterday about how, we need to have more gun laws. So, of course, I posed the question on Facebook, and the question was, what can we do to stop guns from getting into our schools? Well, there were many logical and controversial answers, a lot of dopey answers, but there were many logical and controversial answers. One of them was to arm teachers. Now, although it sounds like a good idea, the problem with that is a teacher may or may not want to carry or may or may not like guns in the first place. So honestly, I don't think that's a good choice. I mean, if you want to give them the freedom to carry, that's fine. I just don't think that's a good choice. Out of all the suggestions, an armed guard or police officer in the school is probably the best answer. Listen, you walk into an office building now, and they at least have a entranceway where they have security. They're not armed. Some of them are, some aren't. But they have somebody standing there to at least monitor who's walking in. And, at least that person will be a deterrent and can act in a real emergency to slow and then maybe even stop the shooter. Of course, Biden and his Democrat loons used this opportunity to try to take away our Second Amendment's rights. Or did he? I listen to Biden and the rest of the left, and all I hear is stuff like what Biden said yesterday. He said in an address to the nation, we as a nation have to ask when in God's name we are going to stand up to the gun lobby. When in God's name do we do what all we need to do in our gut says to be done? I got to practice my Biden impersonation better, don't I? Anyway, it sounded a lot like Kissinger. Anyway, so what does he mean by that? Stand up to them and do what? You're in charge, Biden. You could do whatever misguided things you want. Why don't you attempt them? It's just more virtue signaling by the left. If they yell or hold up signs, they appear to be more virtuous than people who believe in the Constitution. Did you ever notice that as we approach elections, we often get 3 things that trigger the masses: gun lobbies, abortion discussions, and of course, race riots. Well, so far we have two of the three. Any bets on when the race riots are going to start? I say September. July and August are just too hot for rioting, and September, probably the end of September that is, will be perfect because it'll be on the minds for the voters in November. Listen, my heart goes out to all those people in Texas that lost their lives, lost their children, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's terrible. All right, I'm going to take a break here and go make up your, your GOLM signs. Gun Owners Lives Matter signs. See you in a minute.
Okay, so you thought about buying and selling real estate. You thought about investing in the stock market, but don't know where to start. Well, what if you could find a place to unlock strategies to master both real estate and the stock market, all without the headache? That place is Investor Schooling, hosted by Larry Steinhouse, an expert in real estate, financial literacy, and the ins and outs of the stock market. You can attend Investor Schooling in person or online 8 times a month. You can and will learn how to make money in real estate, and you will learn mastery of stock techniques such as options and covered calls. You will even get a chance to ask your one burning question to the stock option sultan, the master of picks and plays. Call today for free information and receive a complimentary pass to attend classes or register online at investorschooling.com. Don't delay. These passes are limited, so what are you waiting for? Call in today or visit investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com.
All right, welcome back to Money Chat Now. I'm your host, Larry Steinhouse. And of course, if you'd like more information on Investor Schooling, you can go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829. Hey, I want to thank you all for listening on WWDB Radio 860 AM in Philadelphia. And of course, if you're watching online, please hit that share button so you can help your friends learn how to make more money. Hit that like button. Let me know you enjoy the show. And please leave comments on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube, and I will try to respond to them. Hey, real quick, I want to give a big shout out to many people who showed up last night to hang out with us at the Temperance House. We had a blast. We had a few drinks. We talked about money. We talked about real estate. So I just want to mention a couple of people who were there, Liz and Krista and Bill and Carrie. You guys are all awesome. And if anybody else was there that I missed you, it was just great. Listen, every month we do this at the last Wednesday of the month. I'm sorry, the fourth Wednesday of the month. So, no, it is the last Wednesday of the month, right? We do it on the last Wednesday of the month at the Temperance House. So we hope to see you next month. And I want to get back to this. Oh, by the way, there's a whole bunch of people online I want to say hello to as well. Lewis and Robin and John and Larry and Rob and Ken and Carrie and Charles. Thanks so much for watching. All right. On today's show, of course, we're discussing the futures update. Right now, the Dow is up 218, not bad. We've got the S&P up 26, and we got the NASDAQ up 43. We talked about the shooting, and, I don't know. I don't want to even go there. All right, coming up, we have the pandemic effects. We have the Boeing Starliner test, and we have pay raises for all. You get a raise, and you get a raise, and you get a raise. And then, of course, we have today's picks and plays. But did you guys hit that like button yet? Come on, hit that like button. I see you all on there. Hit that like button, hit that share button, and don't forget to leave comments on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. And if you're listening on WWDB Radio, be sure and set a preset to this station and listen every day at 7:30. Also, look up Money Chat Now on Facebook when you get home, and let me know what you think of the show. All right, before we start the second half, also, are you guys ready for the financial downturn or the recession that's expected? Well, if you want to survive through it, you should order my new book. Go to barnesandnoble.com, look up Money Hacks by Larry Steinhouse. Pre-order it. I promise you're going to learn something. There are chapters on this book about how to make more money and chapters how to pay less taxes. And you're going to learn from me as I give you an overview of my favorite lessons and hacks I've learned about money. Order Money Hacks today wherever books are sold. And by the way, it'll be in the bookstores, I think, next month, actually. All right, let's talk a little bit about the pandemic effects. We know that the last 2+ years of the scamdemic affected the lives of just about everyone. It was a continuation of the bad practices like social distancing, masks, and business closings that all had no root in science, but again made the fear-mongering Democrats look as if they had some great virtual signaling. Unbelievable. One of the ways this scamdemic affected the nation was in population of major cities. Democrat-run major cities, that is, all had a problem. We know that the former remains of the United States exist in Florida. And of course, their population just keeps growing. In fact, I was talking to a real estate agent last night who basically said that she can't find houses for all the people moving there. So where did the people come from? Well, New York, you ready for this? The nation's largest city lost 3.5% of its residents during the scamdemic. The second largest city, Los Angeles, lost 1%, and while the third largest city, Chicago, lost 1.6%. Well, here's an interesting note. Only two major cities gained population, and they were Phoenix and San Antonio. Huh. Can you figure out what they both have in common and what makes them different than the cities that lost population? Which one of these things is not like the other? Oh yeah, these cities are Republican-run states. Huh. One day the Democrats are going to wake up and see that when you restrict freedom and charge more taxes, your constituents will leave. I basically wonder when Ron DeSantis is going to build a wall around Florida to keep the migrants out of his state. No, I'm not talking about the illegal aliens. I'm talking about the anti-American Democrats. You know, you basically need a passport saying you're an American, or in other words, a Republican, before you can enter. Ah, Florida. The land of the free and the home of the brave. All right. Last week I mentioned a story about Boeing Starliner. And basically, this is a rocket and capsule that's being made to bring astronauts to the International Space Station. Well, Boeing completed tests on their capsule and successfully docked it with the space station. It was an unmanned flight, so it was all computer and AI driven, which is kind of cool, right? Boeing had a few issues building this craft, which is how Elon Musk's SpaceX beat them to it. But it just seems that Boeing can't get a break. But maybe this test will help Boeing stock. We'll see, because Boeing stock has been beaten down and battered, and it's about $122 a share right now. The 52-week high was $258, and the pre-scamdemic high was $382. Look, I can see from looking at the chart that this stock will probably be in the range of about 100 to 120 now. And I've said many times, we are returning to pre-scamdemic values, and that puts Boeing right here where it was. I thought it was a good play at 150, and of course I own some there, but I think I might have to add some more right now. All right, let's say hello real quick. Got a couple of people online. We got Charles and Michael. Thanks so much. And let's talk about pay raises. Hey, you guys, remember how, you guys all talk about, everybody out there was talking about minimum wage or the need to raise minimum wage to $15 an hour. And we told all the people out there, that this would not be necessary. Wages are rising across the board, and of course inflation is the real reason. When prices go up and the labor market is tight, employees will leave to go to other companies who will pay them more. Obviously, right? Hey, that's capitalism. That's trickle down. But you guys think that, no, we just need to pay people because we need to pay people. Well, stop it, because that's not what's happening. Well, companies like Apple are trying not to lose any more employees, so they are raising their pay rates. Apple will raise the starting wage for its retail employees in the U.S. to $22 an hour, which is up from the $20 an hour. So stores in certain regions may even have higher starting pay. And that's basically in a report from Apple. Apple will also be giving the executives, management, and high-tech teams raises as well. Apple's move comes after Google, Amazon, and Microsoft made these changes to their compensation structure in recent weeks to pay workers more in a bid to retain and attract talent. Of course, some might say that Apple is just trying to give these raises to the employees to help prevent the unions from sweeping in. Apple, like other companies, is facing pro-union movement across the nation. We've seen Starbucks and Amazon and others get attacked by the media, or basically the media union mobsters who want a piece of the action. When you think about it, though, the Apple raises shows that the union works better when you aren't part of the union, right? They're threatening to be part of the union, and what do? Just the threat of making them part of the union works better than being the union. Now, if they had a union, they had to go to all these negotiations to get this raise. Apple is saying, hey, let's just take the raise, and we'll deal with it. All right. Let's take a break here, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about the market update and what's going on, and also the Macy's report, because the numbers are out. We'll see you guys in a couple of minutes. Hi, I'm Larry Steinhouse, and I've written a book called Money Hacks. The subtitle to this book is because everything you think you know about money is wrong, and I promise you there are things you think about money that are wrong. There are chapters in this book that I think you will find absolutely fascinating, and some of them are, what is money anyway? Can money buy happiness? I'll bet you don't know the answer to that question. The truth about credit scores, how you can actually use credit cards to rebuild your credit. I also have chapters on being your own bank, how to buy houses with an IRA, and how to invest with other people's money. There are so many other chapters. There are 22 total chapters in this book, and I promise you're going to learn how to make more money and pay less taxes when you buy this book. My name is Larry Steinhouse. The name of the book is Money Hacks. You can get this book wherever fine books are sold, and you can go to barnesandnoble.com right now and pre-order it. I hope that you will enjoy it. All right, welcome back to Money Chat Now. I'm your host, Larry Steinhouse. And by the way, we're having a book launch next Wednesday, actually. And you can go to moneyhacksbook.com, and sign up for that book launch. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to be talking about some of the money hacks in the book. We're going to be signing books, and we're going to be having dinner. It's $27. So go there, go to moneyhacksbook.com, and for $27, you can register. And we'll also have some food. I'll be wearing that jacket that you saw in the commercial, and it matches the book. All right, so far, of course, we've been discussing the futures update. Right now, the Dow is up 230, the S&P is up 28, and the NASDAQ is up 55. We talked about the shooting. It's very sad. We've been talking about the pandemic effects. We talked about Boeing, maybe a good play right now. And we talked about pay raises for all. Coming up, of course, we have today's picks and plays. Did you guys hit that like button? Come on, hit that like button so we can move on here. Hit that share button. Let everybody know what great stock plays are coming by sharing this information. And by the way, I can tell when you share it. So when you tell me you share it and I don't see that you shared it, I know that you didn't share it. So make sure you go hit that share button right now. You can also leave comments on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And of course, if you're listening on WWDB Radio, set one of your presets to this station and listen every day at 7:30 for all you need to know about the politics behind the stock market. Hey, I see my lovely wife has joined us. Thank you, Linda. I love you. All right, let's talk about some great tips of the day. Well, it looks like we might be finally getting a positive week in the stock market. Yay! All the indicators are up for the week, or at least for now. Look, I was looking at some tech stocks this morning because, I was looking to see what's out there and what's going on. And, I see a few that really look good based on their valuation alone. We all know that Meta has been beat up recently. And I do have to say, I still think Meta is cheap in this range. I did say buy it on Tuesday, and it is up a few points since. But a long-term play or stock options play, this could be a really good one. Meta is trading at about a 14 multiple, which in my mind is really, really cheap. If this was 25 or 30, maybe I would say back off. But at 14, this is great. This is a company that isn't going anywhere. And we do see the competition falling off. Don't forget, Snap had terrible guidance. But who uses Snap anyway? I mean, I don't even know if I can find it on my phone. I think I installed it once, and that was it. Twitter will change the face of social media when Musk takes it over, so I believe Meta is a good play right now. Other plays include Qualcomm, Micron Technologies, and Western Digital. All of these have multiples under 10, and they're great companies with great futures. And they're bargains at these prices. Even with the fact that they're right above the pre-scamdemic levels, I would look for any weakness here, and I would pounce on them. The company even pays a small dividend. Look for WDC to drop a few more points, maybe below 50, and pick this bargain up as well. I continue to look for interesting stocks to hide some money in while I wait for the market to calm down a little bit. The VIX is still at 28, and that's too high. If it goes below 20, it'll be really, really great. It'll be less of a bumpy ride. By the way, we also have more retail earnings report, and Macy's reported, and they reported great earnings, and the stock has popped, and that should set the tone for the day. By the way, I'm continuing to watch the good news here on CCL, and CCL is trying to sell one of their lines to raise some funds, and we'll see what happens. All right, right now the Dow is up 210, the S&P is up 25, and the NASDAQ is up 42. That's all good stuff. We also have Bitcoin. So let's talk about crypto again. So as you know, I'm not a big fan of crypto, but I do report on it because it is interesting to watch. So Bitcoin is hovering under 30,000 again, and Ether again hovering right about 1950. Look, there's really nothing to see here, but it's going to be the moment when we know if the cryptos will sink or swim. And I got to tell you, we're right at that level. If it drops below, much more below 30,000, and I believe it's going to drop another 25%, as I said yesterday, I believe it'll drop another 25%. If that happens, then it's going to tank. I mean, it's going to really tank, like possibly go below 10,000. So watch for it. Be careful. On the other side, if you do buy it here and you think it's going to go, don't go much higher than 38. So I would buy it here, take your little 22% profit, grab your money, sell it, and then wait for it to drop below 30 again, because this is not a great play. This is a dangerous play. It's not. Crypto is not doing what it should be doing by now. It should be much more mainstream. And by the way, the funny part is when it becomes mainstream, it's not going to swing as much. But crypto is not becoming the mainstream currency that it's supposed to become. So that's why I'm down on it. I don't think it's going to happen the way they think it's going to happen. I think it's going to take too long, and I think there will actually be another currency that will replace it. And when I say replace it, I mean it'll be something that'll be a currency that will be like, unfortunately, like a money-backed currency that's put out by governments or even by all the governments put together. So gold and silver, again, nothing really happening in the gold and silver world. I'm just going to tell you, keep buying it. Keep buying gold. Keep buying silver. I like silver. I think silver's the better play. I think silver, again, will double from 22 to 44 a lot sooner than gold is going to double from 1850 to 36,000. So I would just keep going. I'm sorry, 3,600. It would be great if it was 36,000. I'd be very, very rich. All right, the Treasury bond are actually moving down. The 30-year bond was below 2.75. I also heard that mortgage rates moved down just a little bit because the banks are pulling back because they're afraid that they're just not getting enough applications. So even if they make a little less money, they don't care. They just want to pull back a little bit. But it also appears that money may be moving back into the stock market, and that's why the Treasury bonds are moving down now. Oil, so the barrel price of oil is still hovering around $111 a barrel. And I'm going to tell you, I want to see what happens next week after Memorial Day, because I really believe that this over 100 is going to be gone after Memorial Day. Hey, don't forget, if you want to survive in a Biden economy, order my new book called Money Hacks. I'll take you through the world of money and how I pay less taxes, how the rich pay less taxes. And hey, look, don't forget, pre-order the book. Go to BarnesandNoble.com. Look for Money Hacks by Larry Steinhouse. And don't forget, also, I want to thank all the listeners on WWDB Radio and everybody else online. Have a profitable day.